All right, welcome to day 2 of NTI, or at-home learning, or coronavirus quarantine. Today we're going to be doing finding angles using trig. First thing I have to do is a little quick tutorial on how to use the calculator. We don't have the advantage of having the yellow calculators anymore, but in your pockets you have a phone that'll do everything we need to do for this class. All right, not meaning to insult everybody's intelligence, because you probably know this, but everybody, if you hold a phone upright, it's going to look like this. It's going to be just a regular calculator, basically add, subtract, multiply, and divide. If you turn it on its side, it becomes a scientific calculator. The keys that we're going to be working with today are, well, for all of the trigonometry, are the cosine keys. All right. First thing you have to know is you've got two levels. Okay, this button here controls it to go back and forth between the first level and the second level. If it's highlighted, it's on the second level. The second level is what we're going to use today, and we're going to be using these functions here. Okay, you see the sine with exponent -1, cosine exponent -1, and tangent. These are called arcsine, arc cosine, and arc tangent, or some people call them inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent. All right, we're going to be using those today, and they're on the second level. Friday's lesson we'll be using these, which are on the first level. Okay, the regular sine, cosine, and tangent. But today we're going to be finding angles, so we're going to be using these. All right, here we have a problem. It's a lot like the first one on your worksheet. All right, we want to find out the angle x. All right, so first thing we need to do in solving this problem is to identify which trigonometric identity we want. So if x is down in this right-handed corner, this 12 over here is going to be opposite. This 40 is going to be adjacent because it touches it and it's not the hypotenuse. All right, so we're going to be using opposite and adjacent, so we're going to be using tangent, opposite over adjacent. All right, so I'm going to set this up. All right, it's going to look like this: sine -1 equals 12 over 40. All right, the way to enter that into your calculator is like this. All right, you clear your calculator, you hit 12 divided by 40 equals 0.3. So that's the same as sine -1 equals 0.3. All right, with the 0.3 still on your calculator, just go over and hit your second button, because you're going to want to hit the inverse sine and then just hit it. Sine inverse sine with the -1 as an exponent, and it's going to give you 17.5. That's the degrees of x. So again, all I did was come up with my ratio, 12 over 40. I decided it was going to be sine. All right, so I used the arc sine and just entered it in the calculator. Try this a few times. Make sure you just don't watch this video. Make sure you get your phone out and try this. All right, here's problem number 2. All right, I know that one side, the side on the left, is a 3, and I know that the hypotenuse is a 4. All right, so x is, the hypotenuse is going to be 4, and the side that's adjacent, the 3, are the two sides we have to work with. So we've got adjacent and hypotenuse. All right, 3 is adjacent, 4 is the hypotenuse. So we look over here and we see that the identity that uses adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. All right, so adjacent over hypotenuse is going to be 3 over 4. Right? We know that it's cosine, so that's going to be -1, or I should just say the arc cosine. To enter that in your calculator, you divide 3 divided by 4. You're going to get 0.75, and then you hit the arc cosine button. Arc cosine button looks like this. All right. You'll get 41.4 degrees. All right, we've got our third triangle here. All right, again, we're finding the angle x. All right, we need to find out what our ratio is, which identity we use. So, okay, x is down the lower left-hand corner. So the side opposite the x is going to be this 27. So we're dealing with opposite, right? And the longest line is always the hypotenuse. So we're dealing with the hypotenuse. Okay, so the identity we want to use is sine. So to find the angle, we're going to go sine, arc sine, 27 over 60. We'll put that in our calculator. 27 divided by 60 equals 0.45. So sine -1.45. Okay, on your calculator you probably still got the 0.45 in the upper right hand side. All you have to do is go over and hit the arc sine button and you'll get 26.7. And that is degrees, because we're trying to find the angle. All right, if you're not getting these answers or anything, play with your calculator a little bit. The calculator is going to be kind of an issue while we go through trig, but you all do fine. This phone, the iPhone, will be perfect. I mean, it's not perfect, but it'll do just fine. All right, this will be our last problem. All right. We've got an x down in the right-hand corner. That's the angle that we want to find out. We want to find the measurement to in degrees. So let's see what we've got as far as identity. We've got opposite. We've got a 19, and for hypotenuse we've got 36. So opposite and hypotenuse. All right. We know we're going to use the sine function. There's my opposite over my hypotenuse. We know that it's going to be sine. So we're going to make this the arc sine, 19 over 36. I put 19 divided by 36 in the calculator. I get 0.52. I hit my arc sine button and I get an angle of 31.9 degrees. All right, I think it's time for you all to practice this. Take your time. I hope you followed along with your calculator. If you did, you should be fine for this worksheet. It's only 20 problems long. Shouldn't take you too long to knock it out. If you got any questions, please let me know. Special thank you to Elena, who let me know that the first video I posted didn't have any sound. I have no idea what happened with that, but I appreciate it, Elena. Thanks for letting me know. All right, you all have a good day, and I'll have more postings on Friday.